All right, so Nvidia is scheduled to report first quarter 2025 earnings results on May 22nd after the markets close. And a lot of investors are asking if they should buy Nvidia stock before those earnings results come out. So I'll answer that question in this video. I'll also do a little preview of what investors should expect from Nvidia in the upcoming quarter. Additionally, I'll highlight my recommendation of Nvidia stock and my price target for Nvidia stock in 2024. I'll do all of that in this short video, so let's get right into the results.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
Right, so I mentioned I would discuss my Nvidia price target and my recommendation. So Nvidia stock, I have it rated as a top 10 growth stock to buy and a top 25 stock to buy. So it's one of my top stock to buy recommendations for 2024. I've had it rated here all year long. I made this initial recommendation on December 30th, and I've kept Nvidia stock on my list of top stocks to buy. And so far, year to date, Nvidia stock is up nearly 80% as of this recording. So it's one of my best recommendations for 2024. And unlike other stocks that I've had on my list of stocks to buy that have increased, some of them I took off my list because of the big increase in price. Nvidia, I haven't done that because this big increase in price has been justified by a big increase in revenue and profit and cash flow. So it's grounded on a strong foundation of profit growth. Also, I mentioned I would talk about my price target. I last updated my price target for Nvidia stock on April 18th. You can see that here. And I said Nvidia stock could reach between $925 per share and $1,025 per share by the end of 2024. Now, of course, following the earnings release, I will update these recommendations again and the price target again following the earnings release, because we'll get so much more information from Nvidia during their quarterly earnings update. All right, speaking of their quarterly earnings update, investors should expect robust growth from Nvidia. In its latest quarter, Nvidia reported $22.1 billion in revenue, and that was up a whopping 265% year over year. More impressively, Nvidia reported operating profit of $13.6 billion, which was up by 983% year over year. So like I mentioned, Nvidia's stock price increase is grounded on these phenomenal results in the business. It's not just increasing stock price based on hype or based on enthusiasm. It's based on fundamental improvements in the business. Revenue, profit, expansion, soaring, not just growing. So fueling those results are Nvidia's data center segment, where its artificial intelligence business is housed. $18.4 billion in revenue in this segment. That was up 409% year over year. The automotive segment, it's a small part of its business, but I was counting on this business to continue expanding. It's facing difficulties. The automotive segment is under duress now in 2024 as consumer behavior is normalizing. Demand for electric vehicles is not as strong as many of these companies anticipated, and so they're pulling back investments, and that's hurting the overall automotive industry. I suspect that will continue in the next quarter for Nvidia. So Nvidia's Hopper GPU computing platform is used for training and inference of large language models, recommendation engines, and Gen AI applications. That's what's driving Nvidia's business growth. The particular area Nvidia's facing competition right now is in the inference of large language models, not the training. The training of large language models, Nvidia still has a massive lead in this market, and it doesn't look like it has very many challengers in this market. Whereas for the inferencing segment, it seems to have more and more challengers rising up, trying to take some market share from Nvidia, because this is the lower cost version of the AI training. I should say AI training is more expensive and more difficult, and companies are still going to Nvidia for that. But for inferencing, some companies have found that they can offer maybe lower price performance than Nvidia does. Nvidia is still best in class, but maybe some companies that are looking for a budget option are going with some budget choices. I want to look into that in this latest quarter when Nvidia releases its results. I want to see if Nvidia says anything about competition in that segment particularly. Now, large cloud providers like AWS from Amazon, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, they are the major purchasers of Nvidia's GPUs, and they represented more than half of their data center revenue, supporting both their internal and external customers. The good news for Nvidia, as I've reported on all of those major data center large cloud providers, I reported results from Amazon, I reported results from Alphabet, I reported results from Microsoft. I dug deep into their results, and all three of those companies told investors that they're going to spend a lot more money building out their AI capabilities, and that's great news for Nvidia because a lot of that money is going to go to Nvidia for their GPUs. So I want to see if this momentum continues. I want to see what Nvidia has to say about their sales to large cloud providers. The expectations are already very, very elevated for Nvidia and its sales to these large cloud providers. So it's going to be hard to disappoint here. So Nvidia is going to deliver big numbers to investors. It's just a matter of how big these numbers are going to be. Nvidia told investors that they're going to deliver $24 billion in revenue in the first quarter and gross margins to be between 76 and 77%. I wouldn't be surprised if revenue exceeds this $24 billion number, given that data that I highlighted earlier that I've been getting from all of the other companies that buy from Nvidia. They've all suggested an increase in spending, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Nvidia reports 25, 26, maybe even 27 billion in revenue for this first quarter. Expectations are certainly high for Nvidia, so that also highlights the risk here for Nvidia. If it reports less than spectacular results in this upcoming quarterly update, the stock price could take a huge hit if Nvidia reports anything less than spectacular. But the odds of it reporting something less than spectacular are less than 50%. I would, if I had to pick over or under, I would say over 50% odds that Nvidia reports spectacular results. Now, Nvidia is trading at a forward price to earnings of 28.8, and like I highlighted, I still have it rated as a top growth stock to buy and a top overall stock to buy. I will highlight though, going into earnings, it's a lot more risky to buy the stock before the earnings release. Like I highlighted, if it reports anything less than spectacular, the stock price could take a huge hit following those results. So, given that, if I was looking to invest in Nvidia stock, I would prefer to wait until after the earnings release. Sure, you're risking the fact that the stock price will explode following the earnings release, but I'd rather risk missing out than risk buying and then having my stock valuation decrease significantly. And given already how much Nvidia stock price has soared, and given how expectations are already high, I think the risk I would prefer would be to wait until after earnings to buy Nvidia stock. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.